name is Stuart. My friend and roommate Tom is on the camera. Today we're going to talk about a hobby project we've been working on to get our health and fitness data into HealthVault. Particularly we're going to talk about some of the work we've done to do free weights, spin bike, in the groove machines, that kind of activity. If you come with, I'll show you a little bit what we've done before. It all started pretty simply with us actually recording everything we're doing on simple cardboard. We eventually moved to at least a calendar system, but the goal really was to get our data in a digital format so we could analyze it and come back and look through what we've done in the past and actually do some programmatic querying and that kind of stuff. So if we look here, this is our bench press. It's one of the most complex things to get into the cloud. Notably, you have this modular weight system, and on top of that you have the free weight and unguided motion, and obviously there's no sensor, there's telemetry on it already. We've taken a chroma tagging approach where we actually colored each of the weights, and we use a rule-based system on top of that to actually find the number of repetitions and the amount of weight at any given time. And then we take that and upload that into HealthVault. Tom's going to go into a little more detail about how that works while I load some weights onto here.
Okay. So in the other room here, we have an OpenCV application that's running. It's connected to a webcam. I'll just put this back on here. It has a webcam going into the other room that's watching the weights. The weights are chroma tagged. The computer vision system we've set up so that it isolates areas of certain color, picks out their centroids, and based on the presence of certain colors, like the green weight here for the 45-pound plate, and the blue tag here for the bar itself, we can see what's in the frame and where things are. If we look at the readout here, we'll see that currently it indicates there's 135 pounds on the bar and zero reps have been performed. If Stuart goes ahead and loads a 10-pound weight on there, we'll see that the weight has now gone up to 155, representing 10 pounds on both sides. Put an extra 5 pounds on there, and now the weight is at 165. So we like to push our testers hard. So Stuart, could you do a few bench presses there?
I guess. So before we start, I will say one of the biggest challenges to this is really making a cohesive system where there's not a lot of running in and out of the gym, there's not a lot of trying to write down what happened and upload it. So really it's important to get the data in HealthVault pretty smoothly. The second part, which is kind of notable, is we've been playing around with the real-time feedback system. So once you have this computer vision working, you can really do some neat stuff. And so one of the things you'll see is when I do this, as I get low enough, you'll actually hear a little bit of audible feedback from the actual PC to the person on the bench press, letting them know that bench press is low enough. So here we go. We'll just do 3. And now to get that data into HealthVault. There we go. So that's the actual noise that it makes every time we upload our data. When this sits idle long enough, the data is automatically uploaded from the last set. I'm going to jump straight now to talk about our spin bike. This is a completely standard spin bike. One of the things we've done here is we've actually, I will mention, we have a polar heart rate monitor. It actually uses infrared transfer to get that data off, so we can actually capture that data as well. We wanted specific data from the spin bike, so what we've done is we've actually hooked up a Bluetooth mouse. We've hacked into the mouse and actually hooked a magnetic switch up. So every time this wheel spins, we're actually transferring information across Bluetooth to the PC in the other room, and it's actually keeping track of the number of revolutions and the timing behind those. So if I go ahead, I'll bring this to a close. Once again, we'll listen for a second, and hopefully, there we go. That's that data also going into HealthVault. So we got a little bit of lag on all these things, so we like to let them sit for a second before we upload the data. On that note, I'm actually going to turn around and let Tom talk a little about the other kinds of data we're able to upload.
Okay. So if we look here, we have nothing too subtle. We have this in the groove dance machine set up. This is one of my favorite games here. And one of the nice things about it is it actually records all of your step chart, all of your step scores, all your calories, and all the songs you played onto a USB key. It actually saves an XML file, in fact, which we can then parse pretty easily. We can then take that XML file, which usually plugs in right here, bring it in here, just plug it into the computer, like so, and using this HealthVault software on device authentication system, we can just browse to that stats XML file, pick the data, the workout that we want to upload, and same familiar noise for an uploaded exercise. Look over here in HealthVault. There's no information until I refresh it here. Refresh this page, and we see 3 things have been uploaded. First, that aerobic workout that I did on In the Groove there. Did that back on the 25th, and that was actually dated in the XML file. We pulled that data in backdated the actual entry in HealthVault and uploaded that. And then at the very beginning of this, we saw that Stuart did 3 reps at 165 pounds on the bench press, and then he biked a total of 0.07 miles on the spin bike. And all this is now stored in the cloud where we can access it from anywhere and where any HealthVault application can actually build on top of this. So, a couple other areas that we might want to actually extend this to are things like Le Mans spin bikes or treadmills, because the Pro Club has these new systems which actually store all the workout data you can get on treadmills and bikes and everything. And eventually, we'd like to support things like this so that I can keep track of all the data I gather across all my workouts on the same platform, so I can sort of mash up all this data together. So, for next directions, Stuart's going to show you a couple of little things here.
So last part I talked about is some new stuff happening in computer vision right now. Well, old stuff too. One of the big challenges for machines like this is determining what exercise someone is doing. Because we can track, you'll see we've chroma-tagged the weight stack here, but it's not really enough if we don't know what kind of exercise someone is doing. So we're writing some code right now and playing around with doing, essentially the first pass we go over is we actually track the motion vectors. So once we've got the motion vectors going, an activity, say we're doing tricep pull downs, are significantly different than those of a curl. You take those motion vectors, pull the dimensionality down a little further, and then ultimately we're running through decision trees, which is a machine learning technique to try and figure out specifically which activity are you doing. Really, the truly exciting thing happening right now, though, is time-of-flight infrared cameras. So that's what powers Project Tall. The real next steps for any project like this is trying to get better and better at gesture recognition. And ultimately, we're hoping that things like time-of-flight cameras and actually getting to people in 3D space will really turn the activity of trying to find out what exercises someone is doing, really into actually finding out what gestures someone is doing. So, thank you for joining us. Enjoy.